Right, thanks everyone for joining us again for another WKS podcast. This time I'm with Jess Bergen of a band called, if I get this right, uh, Diabology.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
No
Glad to be
problem,
here.
no problem. We were just talking before we start recording. You're from LA, and
Yes.
it's about 9:30 in the morning there, isn't it?
Yes. I've been awake for like half an hour.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Jess, do you want to tell the viewers a bit about how you started in music, and then a little bit about how you came to be in the band?
Yeah. It really started with my parents. Both of my parents were musicians themselves when they were younger. They both had like their own bands. Um, and not just bands, but heavy metal bands,
Mm.
and or at least like hard rock, whatever. But so I grew up like surrounded by like heavy music, like Metallica, Slipknot, all that. Um, and like as for actually playing, when I was like 7 or 8, um, the a music school opened on the same block that I was living on. And so of course my parents were like encouraging me. And I was kind of wishy-washy about it at first, but I really loved the Guitar Hero games at the time. And so my parents were like, well, if you go there, you can be like the people in the Guitar Hero games. I'm like, yes, sold.
Brilliant.
um, so yeah, I started going to that music school for about a year, and eventually it closed down, and I went to the School of Rock program, and I spent like several years there, just like learning how to play my instrument and whatever. And the School of Rock program was great, but the thing is, all you do there is play covers.
Mm.
So eventually, after I was there for like 6 7 years, something like that, I got sick of like playing the covers, and I wanted to start doing my own thing.
Right.
So me and like my fellow like metalheads in the School of Rock like got together, and we decided to form this band. We don't have the same lineup we did originally. I have met all the like current members of Diabology at Diabology shows, but
Okay.
yeah, so that's the whole history, I guess.
Okay. Brilliant. So how many's in the current lineup then?
Four. We've always been a four piece.
Okay. Brilliant. Superb. So what sort of, how much music have you got out there, and where can people sort of get hold of it?
So at the beginning of last year, 2020, we released our debut album. It's called Nobody Believes Me, and it's up on, all the like major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and whatever. Um, and also more recently, we released a single called The Softest Grave. And that one is actually a Bandcamp exclusive. So if
Okay.
you buy that, you're special.
Nice. Brilliant. Brilliant. So who, sort of talk about yourself now, which other musicians do you admire the most?
Well, God, I mean, I could go on for days. Of course, there's like, all the classic influences, like James Hetfield, Slayer, undeniably like legends. But I also have a lot of influences in like more modern metal, like Matt Heafy from Trivium uh is definitely like one of my biggest influences. I love Mastodon,
Mm.
uh as you can see.
Yeah.
um Slipknot was big growing up. Yeah, I mean, I could go on for days, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind.
Right. Are you lead guitar or bass?
uh
Oh,
Me and I sing and play guitar. I do
okay.
some leads, but our other guitarist Jack does like the majority of the leads, I guess.
Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. So out of the songs you've got, I mean, what's your most favorite one for you personally to perform?
Oh God. That's difficult, especially because like, we actually like just played our first show back
Okay.
like, after lockdown. So we have like so many new songs that like, you know,
Yeah.
we've barely been able to perform.
Okay.
God, I don't know. We have a lot of fun ones. I think our like latest single, The Softest Grave, is probably one of my favorites to play because it's very like groovy and the riff is like very like just chaotic,
Nice.
I guess, but it's also like a nice melody. I don't know. But yeah, it's very fun to just
Okay,
rock out
so
to.
what's the metal scene like over in LA then? Is it really big, or you know, how's it work?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is pretty big. It's hard because a lot of the like, you know, venues, the like metal venues, are 21 plus, and everyone in our band is 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is very hard because yeah, it's kind of, you know, gatekeeping, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's still a huge scene, you know, there's still a pretty decent amount of like all age venues and stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, there's, you know, tons of metal bands down here, you know, new ones every day.
Right. So let's just talk a little bit about the lockdown that, you know, we've all experienced. I know, apart from the fact of gigs being cancelled, it's all right. Have you got to sort your cat out?
Yeah, I just had to let
Yeah,
them
no
outside.
worries.
Yeah, causing a ruckus. My apologies.
That's
Yes.
all right. That's all right. Yeah. So apart from bands and not being able to practice together and stuff like that, sort of, how did you know, how did the lockdown affect you? You know, I'm assuming you write lyrics, so you know, how did it affect you lyrically?
I mean, I it has affected the lyrics specifically. There's one song I wrote that's specifically like kind of about the like quarantine and like, I don't know, feeling of isolation sort of. um uh in general, I would say it doesn't show in like all of our lyrics because a lot of what I write is just like different like sort of dark fantasies, like, you know, just like, you know, dragons and, you know, demons and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But you know, I do definitely think that like, you know, themes of sort of like isolation and whatever have become a little more prevalent in my lyrics.
Right. Right. So coming out of lockdown now, are you trying to line up gigs, or are you looking to produce more albums, or you know, what's your plans?
Both. Like I said, we just played our first gig back. It's still, you know, the virus isn't like totally over yet,
Yeah.
so it's still
Yeah.
like, you know, limited capacity. We're not playing like, you know, every week, like, you know, not as frequently as we would, you know, before.
Are you
uh
managing to get together to practice?
um we are now. Yeah, it was a difficulty for a while, but now that we're like, you know, vaccinated and whatever, we are practicing consistently again.
Right. Right.
But yeah, and we also, like I mentioned, we have written a ton of new material during quarantine. We pretty much just have to like tighten up, and then we're gonna head into the studio for the second album,
Right.
which I'm
Brilliant.
very excited for.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what studio do you use? Have you got obviously a local one, or is it, you know, one of the band members?
um well, yeah, no, actually, we, for our first record, um our engineer was our dad's friend. Our dad, oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's all right.
Let me restart that sentence. Okay, so we recorded our first album with my dad's friend from work, and my dad works at a like huge studio called Center Staging.
Okay.
They do like, you know, really big stuff, like, you know, like Justin Bieber, like that type of stuff.
Okay.
And whenever there's like, you know, not a paying client in a room, they let the employees use it. So we
Okay.
actually just
Nice.
went in with my dad's friend who is an engineer. His name's Rob. and we just set up in one of those studios and banged the whole thing out in there.
Fantastic. Well, it's a brilliant opportunity if you've got that sort of ability, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, we're so lucky.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. If your band could open for any other band, whether it's past, present, what have you, so you think about, you know, your band opening up for any other band, have you got a preference? Would you go, yeah, I'd love to do this?
I mean, I would have to probably say Metallica because I mean, you know, they're like are, you know,
Yeah.
kind of the, you know, godfathers of metal, I think. And B, they're very, very popular. So a lot of people would be there.
Right. Brilliant. Yeah. No, I get that. Good band, Metallica. You can't, that's the way it is, isn't it? So, yeah. So do you think, you know, the first thing you're going to try and do as a band is get gigs when you're able, or, you know, or do you want to concentrate on an album?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like I said, I mean, gigs aren't fully back. We're kind of, you know, like taking what we can get. We're sort of planning to play like once a month if we can.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say our like main focus at the moment is tightening up for the album.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Um, so what do you enjoy most then about being you know, an artist, if you like? You know, what do you like?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I love every part really. I love being able to create stuff and, you know, pour like my, you know, like emotions into it, I guess. I love going out, just, you know, having fun, jumping around, making people happy, you know.
Yeah. Brilliant.
uh yeah.
Nice, very nice. Do you suffer when you're writing? Do you suffer with writer's block, or you know, is that
Uh
something?
yeah, I basically work in cycles where I will write like 3 songs in like less than a month, and then I won't be able to write anything for like another 2 months.
Mm. So where's the inspiration come from then?
Um, I mean, different places. I mean, you know, it can come from life events, like, you know, the quarantine definitely inspired some
Mm.
stuff.
Mm.
Sometimes if I just hear a new band I really like, it just like, you know, inspires me. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no one thing really.
Okay. Have you got like a set process then to maybe the lyrics first, then the chording and melody, or you know?
I almost always start with the guitar line. Lyrics are usually the last part.
Right. Right. And then you obviously then pass it on to other band members, or they, you know, they join in and add their bit, if you like. Is that what happens?
Yes, yeah, no, I'll bring in a song that's like complete or mostly complete and show it to them, and then everyone adds in their own like little touches. Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, now, going to the last question now. So, and I say this every time because I ask all artists this is the last question. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically now?
Oh God, I mean, so many people, but I mean, especially thank you to my parents. I would not be nearly as far as I am without them. I don't even know if I would be a musician still without them. And also to like everyone who's ever like taught me like at School of Rock or, you know, wherever, like anyone who's ever given me a music lesson has helped so much. And of course to my bandmates and, you know, their parents and everything. I couldn't do it without them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I have a lot of support and I am very, very grateful for that.
Brilliant. Look, Jess, thank you so much for giving me the time for the interview. And
You know, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
that's no problem. And good luck with everything. You know, I you know, get out there gigging and writing albums. Be fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if I may just plug, our
Go for it.
album is out on all the, you know, major streaming platforms. Nobody believes me. You can buy our merch and stuff on Bandcamp. We're on all the major social medias. So please
Brilliant.
go check us out.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, you take care, mate. We'll speak maybe again in the future.
Yeah, I would love that. Second album.
All right, yeah. Take care,
Yeah,
mate.
you too. Have a good one.